You've been a puppet your entire life. Every move you've made, every decision you've avoided, every failure you've swallowed has been because you let someone else control the strings. You let fear, comfort, doubt, and excuses dictate who you are. And now, it's time to wake up. Time to face the truth. Nobody owes you anything. The power you thought you had, it was an illusion. All along, you've been lying to yourself, pretending you're in control. But deep down, you've known the truth. The moment you gave in to fear, the moment you avoided that challenge, the moment you told yourself you'd try again tomorrow, you lost. Your excuses don't hold power anymore. You thought you were in the driver's seat? Wrong. You've been sitting in the back seat, letting life drive you wherever it wants, and you've been going nowhere. So here's the cold hard truth. You have no control. You've let the world walk over you, and now you're sitting there waiting for someone to rescue you. Waiting for that perfect moment, for some change to magically happen. But here's the reality. There is no perfect moment. There's no knight in shining armor coming to save you. There's only you. And until you decide to stand up, until you decide to take control of your life, you'll stay exactly where you are. Weak, helpless, a slave to your own fear. That illusion of control, it's gone. You either rise or you stay in the prison you've built with your own hands. There's no more time to waste. You've been warned. You've been hiding behind your excuses for far too long. You've convinced yourself that your life is a result of circumstances beyond your control. Blaming the world, blaming others, blaming everything except the one thing that actually matters. You. The truth? Your failures are yours. Your pain. You invited it in. Every moment you've let slip by. Every opportunity you've missed. Every goal you've abandoned. It's all on you. There's no one to blame but yourself. No one to save you from the wreckage you've created. It's easy to point fingers, isn't it? Easier to say I wasn't lucky, or I didn't have the right connections, or the system is rigged. It's easier to live with that lie because it frees you from responsibility. It makes you feel better about sitting still, making no moves, never putting in the work. But here's the cold truth. That mindset is the prison you've built for yourself. The only thing holding you back is your own weakness. And until you wake up and face it, nothing changes. You've been walking around with chains on your mind, shackled by fear and self-doubt. You've been feeding the lie that you can't change because the world isn't fair, but the truth is far worse. It's not the world holding you down. It's your own lack of action. Your refusal to confront your own failures and take accountability for them. You are the one who's been holding yourself back. You are the one who's been too afraid to step into your own power. So let's make one thing crystal clear. If you want to change, if you want to rise above this pathetic existence you've been calling a life, you've got to face the fact that you've been weak. Weak in your decisions, weak in your actions, weak in your discipline. And the longer you deny it, the longer you will stay stuck in the exact same place, playing the victim. That's not living. That's surviving, and barely. But surviving isn't enough. It's time to face the truth. Time to stop lying to yourself and start taking control. You've spent your life running from discomfort, haven't you? Avoiding the struggle, ducking the hard times, telling yourself that it's just too much. You've let your own fear control you, made excuses that gave you permission to stay weak. But here's the brutal truth. You are the one who has kept you trapped. You've been playing the victim for far too long, clinging to the idea that life has done you wrong, that you haven't been given a fair shot, but guess what? Nobody cares. The world doesn't owe you a damn thing. If you want something, if you want success, power, control, it's time to earn it. And you do that by tearing down every excuse you've ever used. Right now, you're standing at the edge of your own self-made prison. The doors are wide open, but you're too damn afraid to walk through them. Because what you've been avoiding, what you've been terrified of, isn't the world. It's yourself. It's the uncomfortable truth that you've been the one standing in your own way. And now it's time to face that monster head on. No more running, no more hiding. You've got to be ruthless with yourself. The things you've been afraid of, they're not your enemy. They're your path to freedom. Your pain, your struggle, your discomfort, they are the fire that will forge you into something unbreakable. If you want to rise, you've got to be willing to suffer. You've got to face every failure, every weakness, every fear, and laugh in its face. This is the moment when everything changes. No more excuses, no more distractions, no more waiting for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The only moment you have is right now. And if you don't grab it, if you don't make the decision to face the truth and step into the fire, then nothing will change. You'll stay the same, weak, afraid, stuck. But if you rise, if you finally stand up and push through, then nothing will ever break you again. The moment you decide to stop being a victim is the moment you start becoming a warrior. But it doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you face the truth and make a choice to rise or to stay buried. You've been walking in the shadow of your own fear for too long. You've let it dictate your every move, your every decision. But now you stand at the crossroads. On one side is the same weak, comfortable existence you've been living, the same lies, the same excuses. It's familiar, it's safe, and it's killing you. On the other side is the unknown, the brutal, unforgiving road that leads to your true power. It's dangerous, it's painful, but it's the only road that will take you where you need to go. The choice is yours. But know this, there is no half measure. You can't tiptoe toward greatness. You can't play it safe and hope for extraordinary results. If you want to change, if you want to build a life of power, discipline, and unstoppable force, you've got to burn away the weakness. You've got to embrace the grind, the struggle, the sweat, the pain. And every time you face something that scares you, you laugh in its face. Every obstacle becomes your weapon, every setback your fuel. This is where you redefine yourself. The past, the failures, the weakness, it's gone. You are born anew, forged in the fire of your own relentless pursuit. From this moment on, you'll no longer be a victim of your circumstances. You'll no longer sit around waiting for something to change. You'll make it change. You'll take the world by force. And if the world tries to break you, it will only make you stronger. You are the weapon. You are the force. You are the one who controls your destiny. Your mental toughness will be unshakable. Your resilience unstoppable. You'll break through every wall, crush every doubt, silence every excuse, because you understand this now. You are not just surviving. You are conquering. And nothing will ever stop you again. This is where the real battle begins. You've been in the fight for your life since the moment you made that choice to stand up. But this is not the easy part. This is not where it gets comfortable. This is where the world will test you, where your commitment to your own greatness will be relentlessly challenged. Every part of you, every ounce of your strength will be pushed to the limit. But here's what you need to understand. This is what you wanted. You wanted power, discipline, control. And the moment you made the decision to pursue them, you signed up for war. The world doesn't care if you're tired. The world doesn't care if you're in pain. It doesn't care if you want to quit. It only cares about one thing. Who is willing to keep going when the storm hits? Who is willing to keep fighting when the odds are against them? That's where you're going to rise. While the world bows down to comfort, you will stand tall in the face of adversity. When others give up, you'll dig deeper, push harder, and break through. The resistance you face will only make you stronger, the pain only temporary, the struggle only a stepping stone. And when you come out on the other side, when you've endured and conquered everything that was meant to destroy you, that's when you will know the true power of an unbreakable mindset. This is where you shed the skin of your former self, the weak version, the fearful version, the version that lived in doubt and uncertainty. That person is gone. The one standing before the storm now is a warrior. This version of you is indestructible. This is who you were always meant to be, but you had to fight for it. You had to choose it, and when you face the storm, you'll find that it's not the storm that defeats you. It's your own hesitation, your own fear, your own failure to act. But you've made it this far, and if you keep pushing, if you keep moving forward, no matter what, nothing will stop you. You are the unstoppable force. You are the storm, and nothing can ever break you again. Now, there's no turning back. You've stepped into the arena, and the battle has already begun. But you knew this wouldn't be easy. If you wanted comfort, you should have stayed in the cage of your own weakness, because that's where it's safe. But you didn't choose that. You chose power. You chose discipline. You chose to become something far greater than the person who existed yesterday. Now the real question is, are you ready to endure the cost of greatness? Are you prepared to continue even when the weight of the world feels like it's crushing you? Because this is the part where most people break. This is where they fall apart, when they realize the struggle is far harder than they imagined and the temptation to quit is stronger than ever. But you're different. You've already decided you won't quit. Every part of you, every fiber of your being is now hardened. You've been through the fire, and it hasn't burned you. It's forged you. It's made you resilient, relentless, untouchable. This is your turning point. When you look back on this moment, you'll see the moment where you chose the path of power. You'll realize you didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm. Every obstacle that stands in your way is nothing more than a tool for your growth. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve, to deepen your mental fortitude. You are not a victim of circumstance anymore. You are the one who shapes your destiny, the one who controls your fate. Now, when you look at your challenges, you will see them for what they truly are, the stepping stones to your next level. You are no longer afraid of the struggle. You welcome it. It's the only thing that can make you stronger. You are now the one holding the strings, not the puppet, not the prisoner of your own fear. You control your life, and as long as you never forget that, nothing will ever be able to stop you again. You are the force that will shape the world around you, and this is just the beginning. This is it. The final truth you must face. There is no comfort in this life, no easy way out. You've been tested, tried, and pushed beyond your limits, and now it's time to make the final decision. The world doesn't owe you anything, and no one is coming to save you. There's no knight in shining armor. There's no hand to lift you out of your struggles. It's you against the world, and it always has been. You've been running from this fact, hiding behind your excuses, hoping that something, anything would change without you having to put in the work. But let me make one thing clear. Nothing will change unless you change it. You have two options now, rise or stay weak, and the decision is yours. No one else can make it for you. If you want to stay the same, if you want to keep lying to yourself, keep living in mediocrity, that's your choice. But don't fool yourself into thinking you're going to get any different results. If you choose to stay weak, if you choose to remain a victim of your circumstances, then that is exactly what you will be. Weak. You will never know true power. You will never know the strength that comes from facing your fears and tearing them apart. But if you choose to rise, if you choose to confront your weakness, crush your excuses, and step into your full potential, then you will become unstoppable. You will become a force that nothing can stand against. You will become the weapon. This is your last chance to choose. No more hiding, no more waiting, no more excuses. You can either continue to exist as you are, with all your limitations, or you can destroy everything that's holding you back and rebuild yourself stronger than ever before. This is where it ends, and this is where it begins. Your life is in your hands now. So decide, will you rise or will you remain weak? The world is waiting. What will you do?